scientists will soon reprogram the measles virus to heal. They even cured cancer. They failed to stop the virus from infecting the majority of the population and turning them into dark seekers. Human-eating mutants are photosensitive. 3 years after the outbreak, New York City is a wasteland, and zoo animals are free to roam. The only survivor is retired Army virologist Robert, who lives with his dog Sam. Sam hunts with Robert in his chosen vehicle and helps him find game. Robert has a good heart and a great aim and shoot. When he sees the lion pride hunting, he lets them eat. He sets his watch to alert him to stay asleep at night. After hearing the alarm, Robert returns to his heavily fortified home before the epidemic. Always locking the windows and doors and bleaching the front steps, Robert ensures ghost hunters can't smell anything in his house. Robert stays healthy by stocking up on food and listening to old newscasts on tape. Washing his dog and making dinner are part of his daily routine, along with talking to Sam and listening to music. No matter how she tries, her traumatic memories return. He hides in the tub at night with Sam and a cache of weapons. Listening to the dark seekers outside makes him think of his family. The government isolated the island during the pandemic due to its central location. Massive fleeing caused panic in the streets. Robert ran to get Zoe, Marley, and Sam, their puppy. Zoe was furious when she learned that Robert would stay on the island to study the virus and possibly find a cure because he had insisted. They live with a relative. Robert's car nearly crashes due to their argument. Robert is contemplating treatment. Every morning after working out with Sam, he records his experiments in his basement lab. Because of his immune system, Robert can go there, but Sam can't because she could get sick. Robert tests his serums on lab-infected rats. Everyone fails until Robert discovers a rat improving one morning. He can move on to the next testing stage with human help. Sam and Robert later visit the video store, where Robert has strategically placed mannequins to maintain normalcy. He talks to them like old friends and returns his movies before choosing new ones. He claims a mannequin flirts with him. Robert promises Sam he will reciprocate the admiration. Robert grows vegetables in parks for them to eat. Their database of previously visited houses grows as they complete a new map each day. They find new food sources this way. They leave most of our cleaning supplies and medications while fighting the epidemic. Robert sometimes finds corpses or abandoned nurseries. Filling the gas tank, Robert drives to the South Street Seaport to play a tape inviting survivors to meet him. This concludes his routine. His waiting activities include golfing on military planes. After Sam spots a running deer in the streets one afternoon, Sam and Robert chase it. The deer panics when it enters an ancient, shadowy structure and a blocked road. Robert is upset when Sam follows him inside. Those seeking shadows may prefer a dark location. Because Sam ignores all calls to come out. Robert must enter, but he's trying to stay quiet. Robert is frightened by strange noises, but won't leave without Sam. He takes a deep breath, gathers his courage, and enters, covering his flashlight. He finds a body behind furniture upstairs after following a blood trail. Robert is startled before realizing it's a deer, not Sam. As he searches, Robert sees a group of shadow seekers near a wall. Fortunately, he thinks fast and escapes their flashlight. When Robert turns around, Sam continues to hide under a desk, saying something reassures and frightens her. A shadowy attacker leaps at Robert from behind. Robert kills him quickly and flees with Sam, who tells the dog to go down another hallway when the shadow explorers catch up. Strategically equipped, Robert escapes the dark seekers by running to the window and jumping in. Because of this, the sun's rays kill the 2 demons that fall to the earth with him and capture the others. Robert builds a bridge trap with a truck and old canvas at the building's entrance after rejoining Sam. He tells Sam not to follow to avoid the virus. After drawing blood, he spills some on the canvas as the shadow seekers drink it. The vehicle will collapse if the trap is set, trapping the shadow seekers in the canvas. Another shadow hunter, supposedly the group's leader, emerges from the building and lunges at Robert, but he ducks when he feels the sun on his skin. A few moments later, Robert is in his lab strapping the female Dark Seeker he captured to a table to test his new cure. He starts with UV light, discovers her butterfly tattoo, and uses the light to confirm her virus infection. After a few seconds of silence, the Dark Seeker screams and fights restraint as Robert injects the successful rat serum. After a brief moment of terror, the Dark Seeker loses consciousness and his vital signs drop to 0. Robert quickly injects her to save her. If that fails, she gets angry and rearranges the furniture. After intentionally exposing himself to sunlight, the alpha male records his daily progress and hides a dark secret behind a glass door. Because of their apparent total social withdrawal and brain or food impairment, they believe they are ignoring their most basic survival instincts. Robert recalls the epidemic's crazed streets. Evacuees were the only ones allowed to leave the island as many ships left. Quarantine upset people, especially the children pleading for help. Robert and his family were ordered to be carried to safety, so the soldiers continued on foot despite the military's road blockade. To avoid infection, the troops were scanned at the port. While Zoe failed, Marley succeeded. Robert pulls rank, makes a scene, and orders another scan because the mother and daughter fear separation. The army family had to take a helicopter, but Zoe passed. Zoe left Sam with Robert in Mali to protect her, but Robert stays and says goodbye. Before the helicopter took off, to say goodbye, Marley made a butterfly with her hands. Robert and Sam continue as usual. A strange event occurs just before they leave for the day. Robert denies placing the mannequin near the bridge. After realizing he's going crazy, Robert shoots the mannequin to disprove its authenticity. The mannequin falls over. Robert then fires wildly because he hears a whisper. Robert stares at the mannequin since nothing is happening, but a car crashes and he is dragged by a rope as he approaches. His trap was copied by evil seekers. After hitting his head, Sam blacks out and bleeds. Robert wakes up shortly after by his alarm clock. Sam remains standing as the sun sets. The rope is knifed by Robert. After falling, he hurts his leg and must drag himself up. After hearing a building groan, Sam stops following. Infected dogs Alpha brought with him are released to pursue Robert. Dogs flee when the last sunlight rays are about to sting. Robert gets up and runs to his car to get the gun before sunset, giving the dogs a chance to attack. Robert fights an animal to steady his gun and kills each assailant as one jumps on Sam and bites him. Robert puts his own needs aside to comfort Sam, who is in excruciating pain, and takes her to the lab to administer the serum. He holds her and sings to her. Sam's mood worsens over time. Robert has no choice but to euthanize her. He ignores her after greeting her, and she barks until she dies. Robert tried to resume his routine after burying Sam in the garden. He visits the video store to numb the pain, but talks to a seductive mannequin, telling her he promised his best friend that would do. He takes more drugs. The mannequin's inaction is obvious. Robert breaks at this last straw. Robert, broke and angry, crashes his car into a group of shadowy attackers at night. He kills a few, but the rest attack him because Alpha told them to. They also climb a light pole, which falls on Robert's car. After that, they flip the car to trap Robert. The Darkseekers flee when Alpha climbs into the car through the window and a UV beam blinds them. Robert is sick after the court's overturn, but he recognizes the car's passenger. Robert gives this man advice when he asks address and asks that they not be followed that evening before he leaves. Robert dreams about his family again after the helicopter takes off. Government bombs block the island's bridge. The pilot lost control of the helicopter as people tried to jump from one to another, killing Robert's family. Robert hears animated film opening credits the next morning. After bandaging his leg, he's on edge and takes a gun and enters the kitchen, where he thinks he sees the family. Last night, Anna and her son Ethan were supposed to rescue her. Robert drops the gun and joins them for breakfast, where Anna tells her story. After hearing Robert's message, they stopped at the port from Maryland. They head to Vermont for a mountain refugee camp in hopes that the virus will keep the cold away. Robert, on the verge of losing it, tells Anna there are no survivors and refuses to believe it. His fist hits the ground in anger. Robert goes upstairs for some alone time. When he calms down, he quotes the movie to prove he wasn't hurting Ethan. Since Robert has no friends, he clearly identifies with the monster and loves the movie. Just once. "Thank you, Anna, for rescuing me," Robert said. A brief conversation follows. Anna explains that the Red Cross evacuation ships from San Paulo were temporary. Anna and her friends returned to shore to restock after the Navy broke up, but their boat was stolen. 5 of his teammates had immunity, but the Dark Seekers killed them all. Robert refuses to take her to Vermont, preferring to stay at Ground Zero and find a cure. He checks the trap when they return to where they found Robert the night before and sees that it was built with their own tools. Robert refuses to blame the Dark Seekers, believing that such low IQ beings cannot plan love or hate. Anna believes dark secrets can change. Later, they play at the fountain with Ethan. Robert gets a great idea when he overhears Ethan complaining about the cold water. After returning home, Robert puts the female Darkseeker in an ice bath to increase her core temperature and serum efficacy. It also searches the lab's photo archives and finds many images showing Robert's failed serum trials on humans. Anna discovers Ethan later. Robert offers to take him to his daughter's old bed since he's asleep on the couch. Through the photo she found, Robert tells Anna about his family, including that their daughter was named after Bob Marley, a musician I had never heard of. Anna finds this interesting. Robert, still reeling from the news, puts on his favorite CD and tells her that Bob Marley, who kept singing after being shot at his house, inspired him. Robert locks the windows at night, and Anna tries to get him to come again. Robert wonders how he knows about the colony. Anna claims God told her. Robert finally loses. He shouts that most people have died and become demons. The deity of God does not exist. Noise interrupts them mid-sentence. He spilled blood last night, and the shadow hunters follow it. Moreover, they arrived. Anna runs to get Ethan while Robert turns on the outside lights. However, Dark Seekers attack and kill them. Robert explodes a hidden bomb cache after killing the gang. After some time, Robert goes upstairs to find Anna, but Alpha jumps on him. Robert fights him with a screwdriver he found on the floor. Alpha knocks Robert down again despite feeling little pain. Robert can now retrieve the weapon he hid among the umbrellas. Alpha hides in another room as Robert shoots a gas canister, exploding it. Alpha dashes upstairs again, and Robert shoots him until he sees him jump out the window. Later, he searches for Anna and Ethan, but they're hiding under furniture as a sinister secret rips the ceiling apart. A gun is on a nearby table. Robert grabs the gun and rushes in as the monster attacks. An outside sound alerts Robert that Alpha has returned with more Dark Seekers. Thus, the trio flees to the lab as the shadow hunters climb the building and enter through a hole their companion dug. Robert and Anna are surprised that the experiment's female subject is improving. Good news that the treatment is working. Before the Dark Seekers can consider their options, Robert must close the lab's glass door. To reassure them, he says he can save them. Evil Seekers ignore it. They'll keep pounding the door. Alpha arrives and smashes the glass with his brute strength. He sketches a butterfly based on the woman's tattoo. Then Robert remembers Marley and realizes that Evilders have experience objective. They've rescued their friend instead of killing. Despite Anna's objections, the woman is led out through the glass door after disarming the machines and removing Robert's weapon. While the Evilders attack her fiercely. The woman becomes conscious after Robert injects medicine with a syringe. To celebrate their reunion, Elsa rubs his forehead with her hand before they part. Robert apologizes but is growled again. Robert moves in with Ethan and Anna after discovering the town's secret society. They leave for Vermont the next morning. He must first record a new message informing survivors of the safe colony's location. Subscribe and enable notifications for more videos like this, and like if you liked it. Thanks for your time.